Week 4, Reporting to Management. Here you can see on the balance sheet standard that the cash account is valued at $50,700. Including all other assets, the total asset for Gemstar Productions comes to $66,486.45. Here again, on the same balance sheet, you can see that the total liabilities and equity equals $66,486.45. The ratio of liabilities to assets is 0. Both total assets and total liabilities and equity should always equal, in a perfect world, $66,486.45 and be comparable. Here on the profit and loss budget versus actual report, you can see that the amount of profit and loss in comparison to the projected budget as of January 2015 is less than the total expenses. However, only 76.9% of the projected earnings were brought in. Many times, income is less than total expense at this time of the fiscal year, especially because expenses are usually very high. This ratio is projected to change drastically within the next couple months, creating a positive use of the budgeted figures. Here you can see that as of February 2nd, on the same profit and loss budget versus actual report, that net income is no greater than the budgeted amount. Expenses are also within the parameters set by the budget. Items that fell below the budget included advertising, depreciation expense, insurance expense, interest expense, professional fees, travel, and utilities expense. However, because the month of February is not over, these figures are hard to compare because they will continue to change throughout the month. The Statement of Cash Flows report differs greatly from the balance sheet and income statement in two key ways. The balance sheet shows the financial status of a company at the end of a reporting period. But both the income statement and the Statement of Cash Flows show the flow of activity during the entire reporting period. The Statement of Cash Flows report is on a cash basis. Questions that the Statement of Cash Flows can help answer are, will you have enough cash at the end of the month to purchase additional inventory? Will you have enough cash flow to buy new equipment that you'll need to handle all the growth you're experiencing? Will you have enough cash necessary to purchase a new building for the planned expansion? This report shows that although the cash flow seems to be well above average, after factoring in the accounts receivable and other accounts, a company still may not have enough money to pay its bills. However, Gemstar is continuing to perform above average. Internal controls are a great way to protect a company from fraud and other ethical problems. The first internal control that I recommend is to always request a W-9 form from vendors before setting them up with your company. This prevents the ability to set up fake vendors and protects a company from embezzlement. The bookkeeper will enforce this control. Second, always have quarterly internal audits to ensure that all funds are accounted for. This will also help to prevent embezzling and other frauds. The CEO will enforce this. Another internal control is to constantly reconcile all purchases with credit card statements and your check register. This will help prevent and protect company funds from unauthorized purchases. The bookkeeper will reconcile these accounts. Another control is to do weekly inventory on lighting and other equipment from Gemstar Productions to ensure that customers have in fact returned it. This will prevent the company equipment from disappearing for months at a time and having no log of who has it or how long it's been gone, and the manager will supervise the employees who perform this inventory to make sure that it's being completed to satisfactory expectations. The final internal control is to require all purchase requests for events planned by Gemstar to be approved before the actual purchase. This will ensure that no purchases will be made without having a witness to ensure that the purchase is useful for Gemstar. The manager will approve the purchase requests for employees, and all approved purchase requests will go to the CEO for documentation. This provides a system of checks and balances to make sure that nothing goes without having more than one department knowing what is going on. This class, there are many key terms that applied to Gemstar Productions and help complete the bookkeeping and accounting jobs at Gemstar. Some key terms that stand out are the generally accepted accounting principles, which are the rules that govern the preparation of financial statements. Assets are items owned by the company and are very measurable. Liabilities are debts owed by a business, and the owner's equity is the difference between what is owed and what is owned. Short-term assets are cash, accounts receivable, inventory, and prepaid insurance, for example. And an example of long-term assets include vehicles, buildings, and land. Net income, also known as the bottom line, is the difference between revenue and expenses. Gross profit is the difference between revenue and cost of goods. The general journal is a book where transactions are first recorded. Posting is the process of transferring the information in the general journal to the individual accounts in the general ledger. And the fraud triangle is the basic reasons for fraud, as noted as opportunity, rationalization, and pressure.